Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Francheska Perepletchikova. The topic of today's discussion is validation as the main tool of manipulation. We already talked about that the main goal of therapy is to teach us how to better manipulate ourselves and other people, meaning how to increase the probability of developing better relationships with ourselves and other people by learning how directly influence ourselves, our behaviors, our responses, what I do, what I feel, what I think, my biology, and through that, indirectly influence other people. And one of the ways to do this is called validation. Now, validation is simply communicating to yourself and other people that I understand what you just did. Your response makes sense to me, given its cause, even though I don't agree with it. Validation is acceptance, not approval. And it is the main foundation for change. How does that work? Well, let's start with we all work from scripts. Our sense of safety necessitates our ability to control the best that we can and be able to predict whether or not we will continue to maintain control in the future. This means that in our mind, even though it's not fully on a conscious awareness, it is happening automatically. We're constantly writing scripts. For example, I am deciding to go to a store to buy groceries, so I'm going to write in my mind a sequence of events. I will get in the car, I will drive to a store, and I am going to park there. I'm going to buy this list of groceries. I'm going to drive back home and put it all in the refrigerator, right? And we want for outside life to follow our scripts. We want to continue to be able to write in our predictions. That's why we really don't like when we are interrupted in our plans and when other people are proving us to be wrong. Now, when we are trying to get something out of another person, we also have a script in our mind of how this conversation is going to go. I will say this, he will answer that, and I will reply in that manner. And we also want the conversation to follow our script. And the other person is trying to make me follow the conversation using their script. And as you can imagine, the only thing you're going to get out of this is an argument, not a desired outcome. And as you're trying to convince the other person that you're the one with a correct information or a perspective, the other person is going to do the same, meaning that the only products that you're going to get out of that is getting each other angry and defensive. And this is indeed insane tactic to improve chances of getting what you want. Instead, what you need to use is manipulation to go under the resistance. And one of the tools of manipulation, as we said, is validation. Validation is, as we said, just communicating to the other person. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. Very important to remember, you are not approving, you are accepting. And everything has validity. Every perspective has validity. And that's what we're highlighting in validation. Remember, this world is based on a principle of dialectics. Two things not being the same, being complementary, meaning that they're diametrically opposite. Night, day, life, death, man, woman, yin, yang, good, bad. Therefore, everything is valid and invalid at the same time. Paradox is the only norm of our existence. And we can use that to our advantage. Now, let me show you how it works with children. A child is coming to his mother to explain what happened or to defend himself because he just had a fight with his brother. He yelled at him, and he is having a script in his mind of what the mom is going to say. I'm going to say this, my mom is going to answer that way, and I'm going to reply that way. And he's prepared probably to fight because he's expecting mom's response being, well, you shouldn't have, yelling at your brother is not the way to solve problems. Listen, Of course, this is true. Yelling at anybody is not the way to solve problems. However, this is not a tactic that is going to increase chances of helping your child to change his perspective on what to do next. Instead, mom needs to pull something completely out of the script that the child has and say, wait a second. Oh my goodness, I would be so angry too if somebody broke my favorite toy. What just happened? Mom deviated from the script. Instead of reprimanding or punishing, she said something completely opposite, which is exactly what the child wanted to communicate to the mother. But she said it instead of him. What are the products of this? Number one, mom indeed put the child in a position when he did not have to defend himself. Also, by communicating understanding and no judgment and no criticism, she decreased child's emotional arousal in a moment. We have a lot of studies demonstrating that validation and self-validation indeed decreases our emotional arousal. Also, she deviated from the child's script, which put him in a position of being confused of, wait a second, what do I do now? What do I say now? Now she opened up a opportunity to move in with her own script and make the child play her game by her own rules. And what is that game? Now she has an opportunity to actually discuss with the child what happened and what to do instead, and give the child a capacity to do it by practicing the discussed decision in the moment and reinforcing it with praise, points. And now this is what's called manipulation. If you would like to learn more, please continue to tune in. Please subscribe. I'll see you next time.